Well, welcome to the Say Yes Experience. I am your host, Jessica Rector. We're here to get you out of your comfort zone and into possibilities while ending burnout and enhancing your mental health. If you are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are joining us again, welcome back. We are so glad you're here. Now, I'm about to head out to a client lunch. And before I head out, I wanted to share something with you in case it's helpful for you in your life. So, I was recently traveling to an event to keynote their conference. And I got to the airport to check in for the flight, actually, to check a bag. And I go into my wallet to get out my driver's license, and it wasn't there. Immediately, my mind starts going into overdrive. Where is my driver's license? I have no idea where I left it. It starts going through different scenarios of where it could be. Oh my gosh, I start combing through everything in my wallet. It's not there. I have no idea where it is and no idea where I left it. So I start playing different scenarios in my head. And when I travel, I don't travel with my handbag. I just travel with a backpack, a carry-on luggage, and sometimes a check luggage if events have books that they've bought for everyone, or if they're offering that as an opportunity for people to get a copy of a book. So I was in a panic state because also I was flying into Pittsburgh and having to drive almost 2 hours to West Virginia. So I didn't have my license. How was I going to be able to drive? But that's okay. When I checked the luggage, I was told you could get through TSA. They'll have to do some extra security measures. I called my dad and I'm like, can you go to my house and get my passport? And barely thinking we had enough time to make it work because I had no idea where my driver's license was. Now, my sister was staying at my house watching my son and my dog. And so I called her and I'm like, I need you to do a sweep. I need you to go through everything looking for my driver's license. I have no idea where it is. Well, she ended up finding it not that long later. It was in my handbag. Somehow it made its way from my wallet to my handbag. I'm not sure if I had stopped somewhere and didn't want to take my wallet in, so I just took my license out of it and never put it back in. No idea, because nothing was registering when I took it out and didn't actually put it back in, because it's just a habit that we get into, right? We take it out, we automatically put it back in. And so I have no idea when that happened. But there I was at the airport, and I was told I can get through security, TSA, no problem. So I called my dad and I say, don't worry about it. I'll be fine. I have a picture of my driver's license. I'm sure that's fine in order to rent a car. So thankfully, I had my global entry card going through TSA. So note, if you have a global entry card and you're a global entry member, you can go through TSA, and they say it's just as good as your passport or driver's license because it is a government issued real ID, because you have to have a valid passport in order to get a government or a global entry card. So it was safe. You can get through TSA, no problem. Then we're on the plane and it gets delayed. We're sitting there for an hour before takeoff. So as I'm walking on, let me back up. As I'm walking on the plane, I find my seat, trying to find space in the overhead bin, because I had stopped and gotten to Starbucks a pumpkin spice latte on the way. So I was trying to find space in the bed, and there wasn't any. And the gentleman actually sitting next to me, a retired gentleman, got up and helped me create space. And he said, can I lift this up for you? And I said, gosh, yes, thank you so much. That's so kind. Now, here's the thing. I travel quite often for work. In many years of traveling, I've never once, whether personal or business-related travel, have ever had anyone offer to put my luggage up. So I just thought that was such a kind and nice gesture. I was so taken aback. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. So I sit down in the middle seat, and when he had said, can I help you put your luggage up, I noticed an accent. As we get talking, he's Scottish, and he's lived over there for a while. He's sitting on one side of me, his daughter's sitting on the other. He and I start chatting a bit. And maybe about we doze off for a little bit, wake up when they bring in drinks around, and he offers me half his sandwich. And I thought, no, no, I'm really good. Now, it's a sandwich that was prepackaged that you buy at like kind of a grab and go store at an airport. So it wasn't something that he packed on his own. So it was sealed and he unsealed it and he said, please, I insist, I can't eat all this. Of course, after him offering a few times, I finally gave in. I said, okay. And so generous for him to offer me half his sandwich. So such a nice guy. He and I start chatting a little bit more. When the plane lands, he offers to take my luggage down. And I was just so taken aback by his kindness. So I get off the plane. I go to a major rental car company and say, here, I'm ready to rent my car. I don't have my driver's license. I have a picture of it. And they said, we can't do that. You can go to the manager. They can probably make an exception. Well, the manager refused to make an exception. Now, what I've heard is that it's illegal for rental car companies to rent you a car without your actual driver's license. However, the manager did give me a workaround, and she said, you can call the DMV and have them email you a temporary or have them email you the information from your driver's license and we can use that. Well, I called the DMV. There was absolutely no option to talk to someone at the DMV. I called the Department of Public Safety. There was not a single option to talk to someone there. So I'm trying to do this over and over, picking different options. Again, there was nothing. You couldn't hit 0, you couldn't hit 5 for, wanting to speak with someone, nothing. There's no way to actually talk with someone. So about an hour after me doing this, I think, let me go into my account and see if the information's stored there. So I go into my account. It says that there's no restrictions, no fines. I'm eligible to drive. My driver's license is valid. So I show it to the manager along with government-issued ID and the information on the front of my driver's license. She said, no, I can't do it. She said, I need the information from your driver's license. And I said, yes, it's all here in this image. This is all valid. And then this, that I'm eligible. There's no fines. There's no restrictions. My license hasn't been revoked. Information from the DMV. And the information is the exact same thing as having my driver's license. And she refused to do it. I went on the website to even do a renewal of my driver's license and have them email me that information. And something was wrong with the website and it froze and said I couldn't try again for 24 hours. So it just was not meant for me to rent a car. So I did a ride share for, almost 2 hours down there. I get into the ride share and the driver starts asking me questions and we start chatting. And he's like, this is a long way to go for a ride share. I said, well, it was supposed to be a rental car, and started explaining it. And he was very kind. And he said, well, let me know if you want me to stop for a coffee for you or some food, something to eat on the way, which again, so kind, because in all the times I've ever ride share, they've never offered that. Why? Because time is money for them, right? So if they offer that and you spend 15 to 20 minutes, that's a whole nother ride that they could be giving to someone else, making money for them. So completely generous. We get to the hotel. And of course, when you check in at the hotel, they ask for your ID. And I said, I don't have an ID. I left it at home. And the front desk agent was like, what? How did you get on the plane? How did you get here? Because it's such a long way from the airport. How did you get here without a driver's license? Explain the situation and the story to her. And in the process, the manager starts walking by. He's like, is everything okay? And I'm like, everything's great. Yes, everything's perfect. And he starts listening to the story and he was like, what? Cannot believe you can rent a car. He said, that's Pennsylvania. We care here in West Virginia. And so he said, I'm going to do what I can do. And he gave me $100 off the hotel stay. And I was just so astonished, like, nice people, kind people. And then I told the event what happened. And the event planner offered to come get me from the hotel to take me to the venue. And then one of her colleagues offered to take me to a nearby city because where the venue was, the hotel told me it's really hard to get ride shares, just in general, let alone almost 2 hours back to the airport. So the colleague offered to take me to a nearby town where it was a lot easier to get ride shares. So it was like kindness after kindness after kindness after kindness on this journey. In something that started off as a challenge. Note to self, I will check my wallet or my driver's license every time I travel now. I just always assume it's there because where else would it be? And thing to note that if you do have global entry, if you don't have your driver's license, you can get through TSA, but you can't drive with it, right? So when things happen that you don't plan, when the day doesn't go as you want, how are you looking at it? And where are those opportunities in your day that you can look for the goodness? You can look for the kindness because here's the thing, the world is conspiring in your favor. People want to help you. They want you to succeed. They want to do good for you. There's so much goodness and kindness out there. And I know oftentimes we hear about all the bad things or the tragic things, and we tend to focus on those negative. What happens when things don't go as you planned or the way that you want? You can't focus on the negative. You can focus on, I didn't get to rent the car. Now I'm going to have to spend all this money in order to get to the destination. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? You can focus on all those things, or you can choose to say, it just wasn't meant for me to rent a car today. And not focus on the amount of money that you're going to have to spend, because either way, you're going to have to spend that money to get to the destination that you want. Or you can choose to focus on the kindness of strangers, on the goodness that's being offered, on all the amazing conversations and connections and interactions that you were able to have, that if you had driven yourself, you wouldn't have been able to meet any of those people, right? So what are you looking for throughout your day? What lens are you looking through? Are you choosing to focus on the bad or on the negative? Or are you choosing to focus on the good, on the positive? When you put good out into the world, it's going to come back to you. Now, that was reiterated to me because I've shared this same story on social media, and they were like, well, you're a lot of goodness out there in the world because you're getting it back. And so when you put goodness out there, when you put kindness out there, it's going to come back to you. So I'm hoping that it helps you today, that if something doesn't go as you want or as you planned, or if you hit traffic or a conversation that you're having with a coworker or your spouse or your child doesn't go like you want, that you can choose to see the goodness, that you can choose to pick something positive out of it and choose to be kind to someone else, because it's not just about receiving the kindness when someone offers it to you. In those moments, in your times that you feel stressed, overwhelmed, or burned out, how can you lead with kindness to help someone else? When someone else is feeling stressed or overwhelmed or burned out, how can you receive that with compassion, empathy, and understanding? Because all along that journey of that day, that's what I was met with: compassion, empathy, understanding, and kindness. So how can you continue to put that out there in the world? And when it's offered to you, how can you hug it, embrace it, and say yes? Look for those opportunities throughout your day to say yes to receiving that kindness and also giving the kindness back to someone else. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope that you found value in this, of how you can use kindness throughout your day, and also how you can look for those opportunities in your day to see the positive in every situation. Have an awesome day. We'll see you next time. And I look forward to hearing from you in the ways that you're saying yes and how those are impacting your days, and you continue to create that ripple effect. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.